the new YouTube live control room. Shut up.
Oh, great. That should
Quiet
be fun.
YouTube.
Silence brand.
Are you ready to be demonetized? You must have done something.
That's right. Oh, man. Hi, Internet.
I haven't even finished my show notes.
Oh, God, am I done?
Got him.
I will fucking slap you. I will drive to Chicago and slap you.
It's December 3rd.
It's still not allowed. Get that shit out of the chat.
Fucked. My God.
I was very confused about what you guys were talking about. The nymph dared to put a Christmas tree emoji in chat.
Again.
God, how could you? The Geneva Conventions were very clear.
I even got my chocolate-covered cherries, which I don't get until December starts.
Oh, okay.
Hey, I just have cherries.
See, there you go.
I do have my Terry's chocolate orange, which is empty, unfortunately. That is my go-go juice for today's show. It does have crumbs in it, but I will be a beast and eat the crumbs later when I'm off camera.
That's right. I do have a new flavor. Mountain Dew Game Fuel Mystic Punch. It was purple. It tastes like Mountain Dew.
Yeah,
Here's my review.
Shocks. I'm drinking my Big Game Energy Sour Gummy.
Oh,
it tasted okay. It's fine. It's okay. The last three that I grabbed were kind of duds.
Yeah.
I have vanilla Coke and coffee because I need caffeine today, apparently.
All of the caffeine.
No.
Literally all of it.
Oh, man. Okay. Are you guys ready to get started?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast, aka TVGP. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpier.
Hello.
And the Nymph.
Hello.
Quick production meeting. Moon has lost something. More news.
No, I literally said hello, and a cat decides now is the time to wake up and bother me.
That's my cue. Time to get my fur all up in your nose. Quick production note here. This is the first episode of Picking Up the Pixels RPG Love that will be on this very feed, the TVGP feed. Musim and I will be talking about our RPGs of 2023. Turned out to be a really great episode. So if you're looking for a cool recap, I don't think we get into any spoilers in that episode. So check that out. That'll be in this feed alongside. Reminder that if you have your a lot of podcatchers only keep like 2 episodes at a time. Maybe for this feed you bump that up to 3, because now we're gonna have a bunch of extra stuff coming out there. Even more content.
All of them.
That's
them.
right.
And
just
then re-listen again and again and again. Do what I do. Just re-listen to the same stuff.
Episodes. That's right. So keep that in mind. Hope you enjoyed the episode. We've been doing Pop RPG Love for quite a while, and I think that show is really great. You know what's also really great is spending your money over at patreon.com/E1M1.
Ones and numbers.
That's right. Tell your rich friends. You want to get more content. We have even more stuff over there, like the Patreon-exclusive Uncensored Outcast, where we're talking about a whole bunch of stuff that isn't video games. Talk about Dune, Fortnite, the MCU, a whole bunch of big stuff this week. We blow your mind with what was in Fortnite and what is in Fortnite.
Yeah.
Wild stuff. You also get early access to Picking Up the Pixels. I was talking about that before. That's free. That's still on this feed. Critical Misses. Moon and I are catching up on all the media hits we missed. Also, We Roguelike It. Get early access over there. And at the $5 tier or higher, you get access to the exclusive Wayward Sons Supernatural TV show watchcast featuring Moonpier and the Nymph. We got season 1 in the can. You got to listen to that to figure out, will there be more? Your questions and more will be answered at the end of season 1.
Maybe. Maybe.
Yes.
You gotta sign up and listen though. I'm not giving that away for free. That's.
We did one episode for free. That's your limit. Deal with it.
That's right.
That was just the taste.
That's right. First one's free. Over at patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones on the buzz.
All right, Moon. What have you been playing this past week?
Nothing.
I always do.
Yeah.
No, dude, I got some games this week, but let me tell you, I'm I'm lamenting why I always do this to myself. Because it's the most wonderful time of the year.
No, it's not. You just told me it wasn't.
And I have been playing Mario Wonder.
Oh, okay.
You were talking about this, I can't remember if it was last week or the week after Boston. The week after. The week after last week is today, you idiot.
Recently.
Did you find the secret world?
Pardon? Apparently not.
So, do you remember how in like Mario 3, like if you collected like Super Mario World 3, like if you collected everything or you found like secret exits, you went in a pipe and then it teleported you into the sky and it was the Star World and it was just like a star with the hardest levels that you've ever seen?
Yeah.
This has those.
Yes. Let's go.
True.
So I unlocked okay, so minor spoilers. How you unlock it is you go on the World 1 area, and if you go up north, there's like a level called Buffalo Rush or something like that. And if you get everything on that Buffalo Rush episode, it's the 4-star difficulty one, not the 2-star difficulty one. But if you get everything, the secret exit, the flag, all of the coins, the regular fruit, and all that kind of stuff, then it unlocks another level. Then do everything on that and unlocks another level, and then another level until you get to the top of this stupid mountain. And then when you get to the top of the mountain, you take one of those stupid petal helicopters into the sky, and it's like, oh, it's a special world.
Oh no.
And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh no, it's one of those.
It did it to me again.
Why? And
So
it looks
it's
like
not the inverse world or the upside down.
No, it's not. Unfortunately,
No, those are just regular levels.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Like,
those are your 120% levels.
Yeah, no, that's just what they do to you when you're like, oh, here's a wonder fruit or whatever it is. It's like, yep, the level's upside down now, and
Oh, nice.
gravity's real weird. Good luck.
So that means you probably haven't seen the long Mario level.
That does not ring a bell. No.
Okay, it's silhouetted, so that's why I.
Oh, okay. No, I don't think I've seen that.
Let me tell you, they put so much like little touches, especially like the silhouette level I went on. It was just chef's kiss. Like you can see eyes and stuff like that. It's fantastic. Anyway.
Oh man.
For those of you who don't know who Long Mario is, that was from. Was it Mario Maker that originated that one?
Yeah, where he's like really tall and kind of creepy.
I thought it was based off of a glitch originally.
I think it might have been an original glitch, and then they like embraced it in in Mario Maker.
The long lore of Mario history.
That's right.
But yeah, there's a level where you play as you eat the star fruit and you become Long Mario.
Oh no! Okay.
Or in my case, because I am playing as the superior brother, twin Liquid Snake. Luigi. It's Long Luigi instead, which is just, and it's all black and white, so it's just this huge body with a Luigi part on the top and Luigi part at the bottom.
Oh, it's like a horror movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
100% is, dude.
It is some human caterpillar stuff going on here.
That's right.
Yeah, it's an interesting level to say the least. But that is on the path to the secret world.
Okay.
But I played a little bit of this week. I'm up to the second. I got to the second world, the sub world, which is like the world map, and I was like, oh no, game, no,
it's so
I don't
big.
need 56 levels.
Yeah, like there's a lot in this game, man.
Yeah. So like the sub world I'm in is the water world, which great movie,
okay.
horrible in platformer levels.
Yeah.
And then I go up, and it's like, congratulations, now you're in the ice levels, and I was like, fantastic.
What everybody
Just
loves.
Exactly what I love. They have new powers. I did not know there was new powers in this game.
Yeah, like the bubble.
Yep. I'm not gonna say what it is.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say they're new powers.
I don't even think I've run into all of them yet, so I don't think I can spoil anything.
Based on the standees that you can buy, I 100% haven't run into them so far.
That's true.
Why is there a decimal system for one of the collectibles?
It is
that purple thing at 176.3. What the heck?
Yeah, you pick up shards of them.
Oh my god.
The little ones are shards. They get you to a rounded off number, and then you spend that stuff on lives, standees, badges. So I will say, I think it's in the ice world, or maybe not the ice world, maybe the overworld, the water section I was in.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy a badge from the shop in there, which is the exclamation block badge.
Yes.
Which is a game changer for if you're playing the game with people who have difficulties with platformers. Because
sure.
It just starts putting those in as like additional jump points or additional things to jump off of or stand
a little
on
assistance.
Or save spaces. Yeah. On like the flags I've bumped into, it's always right there at the flag to let you get to the flag easier, like to the peak.
Oh, okay.
So massive game changer, well worth going into that shop if you get there and find it. Especially, like I said, if you're having difficulties.
I gotta get back to playing this game.
It's so good, dude. And it's annoying because I have to pump so many hours into this before Game of the Year discussions in 2 weeks.
Insert date here.
my problem is I would play this a lot more if I was on my Switch more. Because every time I turn on my Switch, I'm like, oh, that's right, Super Mario Wonder. I love this game. Yeah, let's play more of it. But if I'm not on my Switch for other reasons, I don't remember it at all.
Yeah, so I've started putting my Switch Pro controller right next to my Xbox One as a reminder, hey, idiot, you need to play this thing too.
Right.
Also, I didn't realize you could just keep hold of the home button on the Switch controller, the Pro controller, and it wakes up the Switch.
Oh, yeah.
I have spent 2 years picking it up and putting it back in the dock for it to wake up.
Oh, yeah.
You could also just hit the power button on the top of it.
That's true.
Not on the controller I have. It just turns the controller on and then it flashes and then turns off.
No, I meant on top of the Switch. Instead of lifting
that too, but I don't know where that thing is behind my television. The Switch lives back there in the ether. I just go loop, loop, and it's done.
That's right. I don't need to see it.
I think you see what your problem is. Out of sight, out of mind.
That's right.
Dude, why do you think I haven't played a PlayStation game in a while? Because my PlayStation is in the cupboard underneath my entertainment center. I literally don't see it. But no, Mario Wonder is fantastic. The animations, again, I just got to the ice world, and the very first thing I did was run a little bit and stop to see what the animation was for them stopping. And it's so stupid cute.
It's really good. They went all out.
I hate how much they did. So much time and energy into every little aspect of this game.
Yeah.
This is where I feel like Nintendo is best. Like, when appropriate, they leave the game to have its rough edges. Breath of the Wild is one of those. Definitely has rough edges, but generally that is a super polished game. Whereas in the case of this one, this game it's so polished down to a T that I don't know if I'm going to find a rough edge throughout the entire thing, other than design choices like Yoshi not being able to transform, things like that. I don't know if I'm going to find... I'm not expecting to fall through a wall in this game, for example, unless it's deliberately intended to be that way. But I don't know. Mario Wonder's great. I really need to try and finish that before Game of the Year comes up, because there's a lot of content in that thing, and I want to mainline it, but I also don't at the same time.
Right.
Because, it's a great game. Marvel Snap, I played a little bit of. It's not even worth bringing a video for that. It is what it is. It is a card game that I am playing when I go to the bathroom. Like, that is the extent of my Marvel Snap embracing right now.
Like all good mobile games, they're there when you need them.
Yeah, exactly. Forza Horizon 5.
Hey, I played this too.
Hey, tell me about your experience, because mine is just going to be a depressing grind of where are my dust storms.
Oh, okay. So Tuesday night we didn't really play anything together. We were just kind of in chat, and so I popped on Forza because I just was not feeling like playing anything. And I was also trying to figure out why I did not have the achievement for all the barn finds.
Oh, right.
Because I have all of them.
If you don't have the achievement for all of the bar finds, then you're fine. Your liver's going to be okay. Don't go for that achievement.
That's right.
I mean, I have a shirt for New Orleans about that bar hopping. But anyway, that was a different time in my life. What I found out after having multiple tabs open on my internet browser is that there is a wait time. And you have to wait for the vehicle to be completed before it's considered you have found the vehicle.
You completed it, yeah.
Gotcha,
and that final one is like 90 hours.
Yes.
The Ferrari F350 or whatever.
Which Ferrari... I'm finding out now. Yeah, because there's I had two of them that were still... And when you hover over the barn, because all the ones that I have the vehicles for, it has like the scrambled eggs and the golden check mark there and all that stuff. But these last two, it didn't have anything. But they're blue, indicating that I found them and I have completed this. But what I didn't notice is after a certain amount of time, it will say in the description for that bar find, it will say things like, we have sanded down the vehicle.
Rebuilding engine.
Yeah, rebuilding, waiting for parts to come in. And that's supposed to be your thing saying, okay, it's being worked on. But I didn't know that, like Moon was just saying, the last one is... at least 12 hours of gameplay, like in-game timer going.
Jeez.
And so I just kind of raced around. I don't have any money right now because I spent it on a bunch of stuff. I bought a 2016 Volkswagen Scirocco and pimped it out, and I've got my little anime girl decal on it because anytime I find an anime girl decal for any vehicle, it just gets thrown on there because I think it's the dumbest, funniest thing ever.
So every vehicle should have an anime decal.
Almost. Decal. Not all vehicles do, but a lot of them do. I have like
the Jeeps all look like the Jurassic Park trucks. That's fine.
That's right.
I have this one vehicle. I don't even know what it is. It really threw me off. I don't remember what it's called, but the wind blade on the back actually turns with the vehicle.
Oh,
but it's so far up off the vehicle that it's like in your line of sight for the road, and it was really throwing me off when I would turn left, and that thing would just kind of turn with the vehicle. That has my Spice and Wolf one. That's pretty awesome.
That sounds like a Bugatti, one of the Bugattis.
It might be.
The Veyrons.
It's like, I know it's got a Z in there somewhere. I don't know, but it's a fun car to drive. But outside of that, like I was just kind of racing around, just trying to find things to do. Because I've completed everything. I just don't. I'm at the point now where it's like, okay, I need money, but there's not a good way to get money anymore, unless you just want to redo all the races again. So that's kind of what I started doing. I was like, all right, I'll just start redoing like some of these custom lab races, because that was, I think you talked about that last week about one that you had done.
Yeah, the people build their own crazy race tracks.
Oh,
so right. I did a couple of those, and I would get like a couple thousand coins or bucks or whatever they call them in the credits, whatever. And some of them were really interesting, and some of them were like, dude, how high were you when you made this track? Like, there's a random building here. I'm doing like a little, like a quarter-mile turn that goes nowhere, and all of a sudden I win. Or this other one where it was just like a straight line, me versus like 12 other cars who can go straight the fastest, you know? It's like, all right, whatever. But then there are other ones where it's like, oh, this is interesting. Like, I did find one where they built like a completely different city. Like, well, this is really cool. This person put a lot of time and effort into this thing.
Right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure one of the ones I raced on this week was a scaled down version of the Monza track layout from Formula One, and I was like,
oh, interesting.
I know these corners, like I know this sequence. Like, why do I know this sequence? And then as I started feeling it, I was like, it feels like Monza, like which is a fantastic race course, like racetrack. It is like one of the best designed racetracks on the planet, and it's like, yeah, okay, this feels a little bit too like Monza for this to be an accident kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then there's just like doing random like speed traps. Like I had a couple of them that I only had 2 stars in, and then I would try to bump that up so I get to 3 stars. But then there's always one person that's like 3 miles, faster than I am, and I'm like, what? I don't care. Did I get 3 stars or not? Right. So there's a bunch of them that I'm still the leader of on my friends list, which includes you two as well. But then there's like a bunch of them where it's like Jansen's number 1 by like 80 miles per hour, and I'm just like, screw you, whatever.
Those were all accidental. I wasn't trying for those.
But I mean, it's still fun. Like I said, right now I'm just kind of trying to figure out how to earn money. Yeah. Pretty much. And there's not excuse me. There's like all the guides. Whenever you try to look anything up on this game, it's all from like when the game came out. Yeah. So everyone's like, just do races, just grind out vehicles. And I'm like, that doesn't do anything for me now that I'm level 156. Like, I'm getting pennies on the dollar here.
That's right.
Yep. So in all honesty, like credits wise, the only way I really made a decent amount of credits was wheel spins. Like you get a decent amount from the races, like maybe like depending on the race, like 10k each race if it's a decent sized race. But
I was gonna say, I think the most I ever seen was like 11,000. Out of it. If you're desperately looking for money, the Morris Minor has a Forza edition, which is a credits boost, which I have been driving a lot of because I needed money too. And so I used that a lot because that gives you, I think it's like 1.5 times the credits at the end of a race. So I just used that the whole time. And then I'll get completely sidetracked because then I'll be driving to go to a different race on the other side of the map. I'm like, oh wait, I still have a sign here that I never got. And then it takes me one pass to realize why I don't have that sign and why I will probably continue to not have that sign.
Yep.
But then I'll find like other dumb stuff, like I said, with like the speed traps or like the drifting, where I'm like, this car's squirrely enough, and I just completely drift around, one corner in one shot and 3-star it. I'm like, why couldn't I have done this earlier?
There we go.
I am still enjoying it. I'm just definitely at that point where it's like I'm kind of having to hunt a little bit more to find enjoyment out of it. But just simply taking your most expensive car and just blowing through the mountainsides and just launching yourself off a cliff is still very fun. Entertaining. Yeah.
Yep.
I will say they have added so many more story modes to this game, which is the yellow cubes. And a whole bunch of them are really cool. Like I did a Legends of Speed one, which was all about like the history of fast cars throughout the world. Ooh, so like there was an American one, a Japanese one, a European one, and it was really, really fun. And they do some basic story building of like, oh, this is the mechanic who from your team who got beat, whatever.
That's mostly what I get is like the garbage story. Like I haven't found the one that you're talking about, but I did like this donut run thing. And it was like a total VTuber kind of thing where I'm like, dude, I don't care. One. Yeah, and they wouldn't let me skip it. And
they don't ever let you skip the cutscenes.
Not cool.
There is 6 achievements related to the 2 donut stories, by the way. So maybe if you want achievements, that's the one to go for.
Yeah, those seem pretty hit or miss because like some of those ones. The storylines can be pretty interesting, but some of them are basically like, this is clearly a YouTube channel I'm not watching because I'm not into cars. And those are
the donut one,
yeah.
But they
have... You get the donut van if you complete it, by the way.
Yes.
Okay.
But the worst part is that I have to listen to that YouTube personality. Not the person, the personality. I don't need to hear, yo, it's your boy. Shut up.
Yeah. if you get the chance, definitely do the Volkswagen Beetle one. That's the one that just has the Volkswagen logo.
Oh, I did do that one. Yeah, that one was really
talks
fun.
about all about the history of the Beetle in Mexico.
Cool.
And it's like, oh, hey, by the way, one of the reasons the Beetle is loved in America is because it's super adaptable. So, like, you take a Beetle and you turn it into a rally car and an off-road car and a drag racing car and all of this other kind of stuff. And it's just a Beetle. It's a Beetle that you do all this stuff with. And it's like, yeah, okay, that was kind of great. Like, I really actually enjoyed that kind of stuff.
I can't tell you how many lifted beetles I have seen up in Silver Lake, which is a massive sand dune area where you can. I've taken my truck off-roading on those sand dunes, and you see those beetles just tear off.
That's great.
Yeah. I'm almost done with this, if I'm completely honest. The part of the season that's the last season of the series this week, which resets on Thursday. So I did. One of the reasons I was complaining about dust storms is because there's an achievement for taking a photo of the telescope, which is on the northwest side of the mountain, in the dust storm. So you have to have a dust storm spawn and then take a photo of the telescope while you're in the dust storm or with the dust storm visible, whatever. I was sitting there reading a book with this game idling, waiting for a dust storm to spawn yesterday for about 4.5 hours. And it just didn't. So I just was reading my book and having fun while I was waiting for it. And then today I jumped on to do a bunch of like the weekly challenges. Speaking of which, Nimp, if you do the seasonal objective stuff, a lot of them have wheel spins as the reward, which gives you cash or cars to sell, which you can get cash.
My problem is I have bad luck and I keep getting clothes items, and my character is forever going to be in that crash test dummy costume that I have him in. Like, it's not going to change. Yeah. Stop giving me clothes.
I'm currently dressed as a T-Rex, so I know exactly what you mean. But we don't have the Boston Curse, which is every time he makes a spin, he gets a Forza Edition car every time without fail.
Oh my god, yeah. This one triples your drift score. It's like, no, I'm not doing that. Stop.
I had one Forza Edition car in like the 30 to 60 hours I previously played this game, and I've deliberately been aiming for wheel spins to get credits so I could buy the 7th house because I needed the mogul achievement for buying all the houses. I did it. It's fine. I got it. But I was grinding wheel spins. I Googled what cars give you super wheel spins so I could go through my list of cars that I own, all 250 of them, to use the skill points to get the super wheel spins just so I could get the super wheel spins.
Right.
And then now I have 5 Forza Edition cars.
Oh,
some reason, out of the blue, I now have a bunch of them. I'm trying to sell one on the auction house because it's worth like 2 million credits. And it's like, please,
somebody,
buy my car.
Please just take it away from me.
I gifted somebody like this very tiny car with a Minions decal painting on it, and I just randomly gifted it to somebody who was playing Forza. And then I think 2 days ago, I got a response back from that random person that just says, "Thanks for this. It is hilarious."
That's great. I actually do like that whole system where if you get a duplicate car or if you want to give a car away, I like there's options of like give it to a random person, give it to someone specific, give it to someone who just started playing. Like there's a couple of cool options there. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think I got a Nissan. I got a Honda or a Nissan something, and I didn't think anything about it, and I ended up needing it for my next race that I did. And Moon, you'll be happy. It's all clapped out and like the Xbox anniversary, whatever.
Nice. Yeah, that's great.
I think I only get gifted trash tier cars. So like I got a Morris Minor, which is the 3-wheel car from England. If you don't know what that is,
that's not a trash car. That is excellent. Yeah,
it's a trash car, dude. That thing flips at the drop of a hat.
That's why it's excellent. You roll your way down.
Drops a lot of hats. But no, like I've just been going. I did a lot of the seasonal stuff also because you get Forza Horizon points and you can spend them in the store to get new cars and wheel spins. So I do that a lot too. But like this week, I've done every event throughout this entire series All I'm waiting on now is the daily stuff. So the stuff that refreshes every day, you get one thing a day, and then hopefully once I've done them, I will get the achievement for doing all the events in a series.
Nice.
Series, yes.
Dang. The season of series.
That's right.
Yes. That's the min-meat max achievement. I do have to say, an achievement I would not have understood a while ago, one I got very recently, was the racing and pacing and plotting the course achievement. Never would have got that.
It's great.
Never would have understood that one, except for the music we have on at work right now. So I wouldn't have understood that. Now I do. It's pretty great.
Every once in a while, it'll throw out an objective or something. And I'll be like, what does that even mean?
Right. What is this a reference
100%.
to?
Yeah.
I've been getting so many accolades, which is also a great way to get cars too. But I've been getting so many accolades, and it's just like it's referencing something, and some of them again, it's like, hey, that's a pretty good one. I don't get that one though. Or I now am the proud owner of the Marco and Polo, like quick chat buttons, things, which is always funny as hell. Well, yeah, I got the achievement for taking the photo. So I got the Dust in the Lens achievement, which is super rare because you can't do it in events. It has to be random. It's only 1 week, 1 season of the series, so it's only in the hot season, which is now. And it's a randomly generated dust storm that happens to have to have spawned. So after all of that waiting, I was like, okay, whatever. So I started buying Chevys because there's another one for like, I think it's Yes, I Am Quite a Fan. And it's like, get a reward from a manufacturer for having a certain number of cars, but it has to be at least 25 cars.
Oh, I had such a hard time with that one.
Yeah. So I sold a McLaren Senna, which is a supercar, for 1.5 million credits. And then use that 1.5 million credits, having just bought all of the houses, to just go through the auto show and buy every single Chevy that they had on the auto show. And then backed out, and then I unlocked the reward. I got it because you don't need the DLC vehicles for it, and you don't need the Forza Horizon edition for it. So I was like, oh, thank goodness. So I got that one, and then as I was leaving the auto show, there's a sandstorm in front of me, and I was like,
yes, it's my time.
I've waited so long. So then I immediately teleported to where the dust storm was, the west side of the map near the desert, obviously. But hopped in photo mode, and all of the guides are like, yeah, it doesn't matter where it is on the map, just go to the telescope and take a photo right near it. I did that. The achievement didn't unlock, and then I teleported to the dust storm and was like, okay, I'm just gonna point the camera towards the telescope because I could see it if the dust storm wasn't there. As soon as I went into photo mode, it went clear because I'd just done a photo mission. So I had the filter set to nighttime. I was like, oh, I'm such an idiot. So I reset that, and then the dust storm appeared, took the photo, got the achievement. It's like, oh, great. Nice. I have 3 left. 3 left from the base 1000.
So that would have been the biggest screw job if it just reset your weather because you didn't have the right filter.
Right. Bye.
So that's why it didn't count when I was by the telescope, was because I had it set to nighttime clear.
Right.
And then when I went to the dust storm, I realized, and then cleared the filter out. But I got 3 achievements left, and from the base game. Right. I have 3 achievements left. One of them is chicken dinner, so I'm not getting that one.
Yeah.
Is that part of the Eliminator one?
Yeah, it's with the Eliminator.
Yeah.
So I'm probably never, ever going to get that one. But that just leaves me with 2 achievements, which is do this and this within a certain period of time, and then the min-meat max achievement. And I might be done. I might be able to uninstall this game 6 years after it came out, or whatever the case may be.
They can announce Forza Horizon 6 now. We're done.
They can, and they will in 3 years, because they've only just released Forza Motorsport. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one of these.
Yeah.
Also, my final note. Have you got anything else on this, Nimp?
I was actually just going to say, where do you guys even think you would want the next one to be in?
I don't know. That's part of the thing I've been happy about with Forza Horizon, is just and we're here. And it's okay, sure. Wasn't expecting that, but yeah, let's do it.
Japan?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Cool. I was
'Cause you
thinking
get Tokyo, and then you've also got the mountains and everything else. You got the
Yeah.
whole
True.
wide variety there.
that's actually for me. I was thinking India
Ooh,
because
yeah.
again, depending on where you do it, that would mostly be mountainous range, and then you'd have like this tiny section that's flat.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was all I had. Was just curious on where people were thinking they'd want another game at.
My final note for this one is I never noticed this before. I don't know if you guys ever did or not. When a skill song plays on the radio, your driver sits there and bobs his head.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah,
Never have the radio on.
If you look when they have the skill song going on, your driver will just be sitting there going.
I always have the radio on the classic station.
Classic. Yeah,
that gets you the longest skill songs, where it's like skill song for the next 15 minutes. It's like, yep, great, excellent, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure this has Hall of the Mountain King in it too, which I appreciate every single time I hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
it's very good.
My favorite piece of classical music. Okay, enough about Forza Horizon 5. Let's talk about Alan Wake Remastered.
Mm-hmm.
If you follow me on the social medias, the one I really post on now, which is the Sky of Blues, you will notice I put up my full completion for this game, yesterday.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay. As politely as possible. I like Alan Wake.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Wake is arguably an Alpha Protocol winner kind of game because it has a fantastic story. Graphically, it's amazing. Storytelling is fine. Combat-wise is questionable, and platformer-wise, it is hot garbage.
Okay.
Yes.
Not unfair.
I played the DLCs. I enjoyed both of the DLCs. I've never played them before. So I beat the game on Nightmare, got all my thermoses, I got all of that stuff, and then I only had the 2 pieces of DLC left. So I started the DLC. I liked the DLC. Story-wise, it is fine. I never knew that they started doing the mind-bending level design with the Alan Wake DLC.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the ashtray maze, and it is a famous example of Remedy going, hey, you think you know what's real? Here, let me just mess with your skull a little bit. In Alan Wake Remastered, they have a circular level that you walk around the inside edge of the circular level.
Oh, cool.
Trying to get further out. So you're on the inside edge and you're trying to get further out.
Mm-hmm.
And you go through levels by dropping it down into more and more outside edges of this circle that's rotating as you're walking in it.
Oh, wow.
It is very weird and very interesting and really kind of cool. Those 2 DLCs have achievements where you have to start them, finish them, not die or reload or start a checkpoint in any point.
Oh, boy. Okay.
And how long are they?
About 90 minutes.
Okay.
Well,
that's not
horrific.
Yeah, that's not terrible, but come on, man.
Guess what the one achievement I don't have in the Limbo remake is?
Beating it in less than 30 minutes. Yeah.
Beating it in less than 5 deaths.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I was very annoyed when I spent basically 2 separate days over 2 separate DLCs with the same achievement in both of them.
Yeah.
Dying or doing something stupid and something happening and then costing me the whole, oh, now I have to quit the game, reload the game, start this whole DLC all over again because
Sounds like my Dead
I died.
Space 2 fiasco.
Yeah,
Beat
exactly.
the game on hardcore with only like 2 or 3 saves or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love the Pew Pew.
The Pew Pew is great. My biggest issue was I got to disc 2, but accidentally opened the tray before it initialized that, and then I lost all progress.
Oh, boy.
Fun. So DLC 1 was okay. Mostly it was me being stupid and trying to rush things, which is fine. Hands up, that's my responsibility, whatever. DLC 2 has a whole bunch of platforming in it.
Oh, no.
Alan Wake is not a platformer.
No.
why am I jumping from rock to rock to rock in the sky, where as soon as I fall, I die?
Was this Xenogears? Heyo.
I don't know. I've never played it, so that's a joke just for you, boss.
Xenogears felt better than Alan Wake.
Oh boy.
From what I remember of that DLC.
But yeah, like, story-wise, I think it was good. It even started asking the same questions I asked, which it was like, is Tom Zane the creator of Alan Wake? Is he the author? No, he's not the author. Is Alan Wake real? Is he not real? I'm really liking this inception of what is reality that I'm currently experiencing with the Alan Wake franchise.
Right.
I did not like listening to the same lines 10 times over the course of like a 5-hour period because I kept restarting the DLC because I kept falling to my death in the stupidest way.
Get on the Hydra's back.
I am installing Control.
Okay.
I have finished Alan Wake. It is a good experience. Don't play it if you're an achievement hunter like me. Or be prepared for that, I should say. If you're a freak like me, that's going to be your biggest problem. If you're not a freak like me, and you can embrace what we tend to embrace on this show, which is the stupid side of things, the goofy side of things, you should definitely play Alan Wake, especially the remastered version. It's usually cheap.
Yeah.
And it's like maybe 14 hours total to go through the whole game. Like when I did the Nightmare Run playthrough, that was like maybe 3.5 hours it took me because I literally just ran from section to section.
Yeah. I was saying, if you have PlayStation, it was a gold monthly game a couple months ago. The remake. So
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Nice.
And like, I will say, I did the Nightmare Run really, really quickly, despite Alan's cardio issues. Because he's a writer, he's not a gymnast. That's fine. That's right. I get it. But it was fun. I had a good time playing it. I was hoping to have at least started Control by this point, but that was Friday and Saturday was spent trying to get that all taken care of. Which means I have one game left.
Okay.
Is it Control?
No. I started this game on Friday. I have put 10.5 hours into this game.
Oh boy, Jeez.
Okay. Boston, pull up Lethal Company.
Oh no.
Ooh, so you got sucked in.
Yep.
Yeah. So for those of you listening who don't know, Lethal Company is an early access 4-player co-op horror roguelike game. Roguelite game. Yeah, roguelike maybe. Which is on Steam right now for $10. As far as I'm aware, it is currently the best-selling video game on Steam at this moment in time.
Is also solo developed?
Yes, also developed by one person, and it is outstripping games like Baldur's Gate 3 and everything else that's coming out at this current moment in time.
Like run-based, horror-based, multiplayer thing.
Yeah, it is... It has a unique style to it.
Yeah.
Now, we had the discussion when we were playing. Is it, like, could they not do better graphics, or is this a case of, like, put Vaseline over the lens to hide how bad the graphics are? But whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spoil too much about the game, because if I'm honest, like, if you decide you're going to play this, the less you know about it, the better. Because if you go in as blind as you can, it can be one of the scariest / funniest games that has ever existed on this planet that I've played. I'm pretty sure when we were playing it on Friday night, I think I got into a laughing fit for about 5 straight minutes where I could not breathe because I was laughing so much.
It do be that way.
So the general like operating of the game is basically you work for a company, they send you to the different moons to gather scrap to make profit for the company. You have a quota to hit, which you have to hit within 3 days. You land on the moon, you go into this base, procedurally generated world, or procedurally generated base, I should say. You gather scrap and you take it back to the ship, and then you can trade it in wherever. It's more optimal to do it at the end of the 3 days. Part of that is all of these like places that you're going to claim this scrap are all abandoned, which means there is monsters and scary things inside of these places that you're going. I'm slowly learning the names from the bestiary, but we ended up calling them different names based on what we have experience with.
Oh,
so,
course,
for example, there is an enemy called the Bracken who looks like he teleports, and he will stare you down, essentially. He looks like an Enderman because he's black, fuzzy, shaped with solid eyes. And you see his eyes. Like in the dark, you can just see this pair of eyes looking at you. So we start calling him the Enderman. There's 2 different kinds of there's a weird, creepy bug thing. There is 2 different creatures that have basically 4 arms and a tail. Okay. One will destroy you in about 4 seconds flat, and the other one is not so bad. There are spiders.
Of course.
And they do what spiders do. Turns out a spider can do everything that a Spider-Man can. It works both ways. Possibly my least favorite enemy is... What's that thing called in Half-Life that is the scariest thing to ever exist in video games?
The thing that's on the ceiling and like slowly pulls you up towards it? Yeah.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. One of those.
Yep.
There's one of those in this, except it does... Yes, I think barnacles is correct.
Yeah.
Except in this case, it doesn't pull you to the ceiling, it drops on your head.
Oh. Okay.
And wraps itself around your head, which is hilariously horrifying in so many different ways. One of the things you do, the best thing to do in this game is you don't play in a chat. So we don't play on the Xbox chat, we don't play in Discord chat, you do the in-game chat.
Okay.
The reason the in-game chat is so important is because it's proximity voice-based chat.
Oh no. So if someone is screaming past you going, run, 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 and then their voice just disappears, you're like, well, I'm not going that way. Okay.
100%.
Oh, that's great.
I don't know how one person has made this spatial audio so incredible.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't understand how they did it, because you'll be in the ship and everyone sounds normal. Then you'll go outside into the moon and it's a big open area with mountains on the side. And your voice starts to echo, and everybody's voice is echoing off the walls and coming back to you.
Oh, interesting.
And then you go inside of the base that you're trying to get scrap from, and the echo is different, but it's still there. And one of the scariest things ever is when there's 4 of you and you all you go in pairs of 2 and you go separate ways. And because it's proximity based, you can yell into your microphone and be like, hello, and then you'll hear someone on the other side of the building start talking to you that way. And then, like you said, you'll just hear someone scream in the distance, and then it will cut out immediately.
Oh no.
And then you're
That's
just
pretty great.
Oh no, oh crap, what? Did someone just die, or did they did they leave the building? Did they go outside where we can't hear them? What exactly is going on? You will hear footsteps in the dark, which is one of the most horrifying things that exists. Like I said, the Bracken is just a pair of eyeballs that you'll see through a doorway. You'll just see this pair of white eyes watching you. I don't think I've had as much fun playing video games this year as I did playing this on Friday and Saturday.
Oh, nice.
We sat down, a group of 4 of us. We all sat down. We started playing it. On Friday, we started playing it 7. We didn't finish until 2 in the morning because we just lost track of time.
Mm-hmm.
It was chaos, anarchy, and fun. And like there's a store and like you can use the money that you buy to get upgrades. So you start with nothing and you buy flashlights and then you can buy walkie-talkies, which let me tell you, hearing at the end of a sentence as someone gets screaming is it's amazing how instinctual it becomes when you're getting chased by something to pull out your walkie-talkie, hold the button down, and then scream into the walkie-talkie.
Right.
Because it doesn't like activate on voice. It's like you have to pull it out, have it in your hand, push the button, and then it acts like a walkie-talkie. Yeah, and then you'll hear it from the other side, and all you will hear is just static at the end of a sentence. And it's like, great. No, dude. Like,
what happened?
Because if you all die, the ship takes off, you respawn in space, but you lose all of the scrap that has been collected on your ship. So then you start from nothing. And you have to go and get all that scrap again so you can go and meet the quota. Like, it's so fun, it's so tense, it's so stupid. I know for a fact that there is 2 other monsters that we haven't run into yet because they're only on the harder planets. And or the harder moons, I should say, which are like, you have to spend money to unlock them. I am terrified about what is happening there. Like, I don't know when we're going to get there. I don't know if we're going to get there, but like, we have some people who we play with who are less than able jumpers, we will say. And especially myself, I'm surprised I haven't fallen down a pit more often. Because sometimes with it being proc gen, sometimes the only way you can get to the next area is by jumping over a pit. So there'll be a bar, and you have to jump over a railing, onto the bar, and then over the other railing to get to the rest of the map, essentially. And I'm sitting here like, I haven't done WASD controls in a decade.
Right.
So I'm trying to like hold shift, do the sprint, do the jump, time it all right. And it's the same for all of our group. We're all playing on controllers. We're all not used to it. The controller support is not ideal. It's there. It's not great. It's amazing the amount of times you just hear weep as people fall down these pits, and then you can't get their bodies. So because you can't recover the bodies, you suffer a cutoff of your total income or total money that you have on hand at the moment. So like watching people do this kind of stuff and fall down pits is like, especially when you're trying to when you're panicking, you have a spider behind you or the noisiest monster thumping after you is scary as hell. And then you're trying to run through these dark places where you don't know exactly where the front door is. You don't know which turn is going to be a dead end. So, and then you're trying to go around these places and trying to make these jumps in high pressure situations. It just becomes this like, it becomes this intense, really fun, stupid experience because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's early access. We're all just having fun playing it. The bit that got me laughing. There's been several times when I've literally jumped like out of my chair, kind of, oh no, like that's horrifying kind of situation. The bit that got me laughing was we were all playing, then one of our crew couldn't make a jump, fell in the hole. So there's 3 of us, and I'm going to call him out because it's Justin who made me laugh so much. So there's 3 of us, and we're all like exploring into this area. Like, okay, we're 1 man down. We know exactly what the situation is. We've lost 1. We're going to keep going from here. So we continue deeper into this area. And like, as we're going, we've gone through dark areas, steam areas, and it's a long way back to the main entrance. So we open this door, and as soon as we open this door, there's a spider directly in front of you. And I don't mess with spiders. Yeah. I just don't. So we all turn around and we all book it. And we're all running as fast as we can away from this spider, like through like these twisty, turny corridors. I go around a corner, and as I go around a corner, I take a slightly different route to everyone. Justin comes out of the corridor to my right, and as he's coming out of there, he starts to turn right too, except he mistimes his run and runs straight through a gap in the fence and into this pit. And at that point, I lost it. I'm laughing, trying to run away from this spider to get to the front entrance to get back to the ship. And I could not stop. Like it broke me for like 10 minutes. I was just like, I'm done. Like
So
I
good.
cannot think at all right now because I'm too busy busting a gut. It's stupid and fun and I like cronking it. Let me put some context on that phrase.
Mm-hmm.
When you leave the moon or land on the moon, there's a lever on the spaceship. So anytime we're all ready to go, I just yell "cronk that" swear word. But I'm not going to say the swear word here, so I'll just say "cronk that." It was hit the lever cronk with a pointed finger at Kronk. That was Justin, by the way. And then that just turned into Kronking it,
right.
which is our secret code word for just go. Like everyone else is
just
dead.
Start the level.
Because the fun part is like when you get to the ship has monitoring cameras that can see what everyone else is doing. So like you can see like a radar with a person, and then there's a red dot running behind the person, and you're just like, please escape, please don't die, because we need all of the scrap.
That's something terrible.
When you eventually fail to hit the quota, you are fired by the company.
Okay.
And the way the company fires you is they fire you out of the airlock into space.
Capitalism,
nice.
Am I right?
And then you just restart as new. You start the whole thing again. The quota goes back to a normal amount, or the lower amount, because every time you hit it, it just increases the quota number, essentially.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Like, I can't think of, like, with all of the screams and the proximity chat, like, if you haven't seen anybody play this, like, you should go check out, like, some people playing it on YouTube or whatever. I have a couple of, because I wanted to test my rig out, I recorded the whole thing, so I've got a couple of clips I want to upload at some point, including the Justin running off an edge one. But go watch some people play it. Don't watch too much. Don't watch pros play it, ideally. Try and watch, like, noobs play it, because it's at its funniest when there's new people playing it who don't know what things are, like us. That's why you should go in as blind as possible. Because if you don't know what these monsters look like, you'll just see something coming at you out of the dark, and then that's when the screaming happens, which is always fun for everyone except for the person doing the screaming.
Right.
Oh,
man.
I don't know. It's great. I had a blast playing it. I'm probably going to end up playing it again, because we all seem to have so much fun playing it both times we played it. It was literally like we did 5 hours one day, and then the next day we were like, do you want to play again? Yeah, we wouldn't play again. Let's do another 5 hours again, because why not?
That's Lethal Company.
Yes, Lethal Company. Check it out if you want. That's all I've been playing. Nimb, take it away.
All right. This week, I started playing a game that I'm actually kind of... I feel like the video game community has failed me on.
Okay.
And that is Quantum Break.
Hey, Quantum Break is a great game. It is a fantastic game.
Like I said last week, I just heard people crapping all over the game, so I just never got around to playing it. And now I'm playing it because you guys suggested it. So I'm like, all right, cool. I got it. It's short. I have some time to mess with it. It is a fun game. I am at the end of Act 2 right now. So I'll just cover the first act. That way there's no spoilers of the story or anything. But a lot of things go down weird, and you get powers to manipulate time. And like Moon said with Alan Wake, this is not a platforming game. However, it has platforming in it. Some of it's not great. There are times where I've tried to jump up the side of a container and he just kicks off the ledge. And I'm like, no, I need you to grab it like you're supposed to. Or there are other times, because it has momentum, that I move too far forward to jump up on the ledge, so now I'm under the ledge, so I need to back up, and I fell off the container, so now I have to reclimb the container. Yeah, so basically, it plays a lot like Alan Wake. You're picking up weapons. Your pistols in this game have infinite ammo. So that's all I really use. I'm kind of handicapping myself because you get, like, I have an assault rifle. I have a shotgun. I pick them up when I find them, but those have a finite amount of ammunition, which so far I find ammo everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a pistol with infinite ammo, so why would I use anything else?
Exactly.
I also found other versions of a pistol where it's like you got your regular one, which has like 12 bullets in it. You find a heavy, which has 4 bullets in it. Or you find a burst that I just unlocked or found, which I think it goes back to having 12, but it fires in 3-round bursts. Works out great for me for shooting things. That's all I need.
Yeah.
But the game starts out with you are being called back to your hometown, it sounds like, to meet up with a friend of yours. And your friend needs you to do something for them, but they don't tell you what. And you later find out, as you are helping them, that they have, well, it's hinted that they have created a way to travel through time. They've basically made a time machine.
I got a little time machine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the specifics.
I like how Paul, the guy who called you in,
Littlefinger. Yeah, he's so evasive.
Yes. He's like skirting the whole thing. He's like, I just need you to do something. It's fine. Everything is cool. But, I just need your help with this. And so it starts off with a little bit of, okay, he's talking to you about things that they have found, things they've been researching. And then you walk into this room and you're like, dude, what is going on? He's like, just turn this key. All right. Just don't worry about it. Everything will be explained. Hit that green button as soon as you hit the key. Don't walk over here. You'll be fine. Everything's fine.
Just don't walk over here. You might explode. Don't worry about it. Anyways.
Yeah, So then you activate it, and of course, everything goes wrong. It starts out fine, but then the time machine blows up when your brother, who just disappeared and was apparently the person who actually made this thing, shows up. And then you get in this, what they're calling a time dilation, where it's like in the middle of this thing exploding, time has stopped. So you're walking in between like these pieces that are just going through the air and blowing things up, and you find your brother who is stuck in this dilation, and you touch him, and all of a sudden he can start moving. It's like, all right, that's pretty cool. And now we're escaping from this company called Monarch, who is trying to kill us now because we happen to be there.
The time powers.
Yes. Long story short, your brother doesn't make it. You find guns scattered everywhere, and you just kind of blow everything up until they knock you out. Then the cool thing happens, where the game's like, hey, we have something for you to watch. However, whatever the servers were at the time or however connected, they are no longer active. So I get this warning thing that says, you can download this. And, like, you can download the entire series for the game to reference. Or you can skip this. I'm like, well, I'm not skipping, the show. That's the whole point of the game.
Please.
Yeah. So I go into the store. All right, the game is 83.7 gigabytes, all right? The entire TV show is 75.6 gigabytes. So that had to install overnight because my Xbox is a resource hog and will bog down our network at the cost of everything to install. So I had to wait until the next night to finally watch the TV show. And guess what, guys? That TV show is pretty damn awesome.
It's a pretty cool show.
It's a full 30-minute TV show.
Yeah, it's way longer than I thought.
Yeah.
And they shot different scenes depending on what your choices in the game are.
Yes, that's what I was going to get to, because just before it shows you the TV show, it does the whole telltale thing of, hey, you made a decision back here, and this is what all your friends did.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, cool. And then, it'll tell you that during the decision making is like whatever decision you make, it'll change the outcome of the game, and it'll change what scenarios you get in the TV show. All right, cool. So you get to choose. You either take a hard line approach or a soft line approach. I went soft line only because I thought it was really cool that I got to play as the villain and make this decision. However, it kind of seemed like going hard line was going to make the game slightly more difficult for me. and I didn't know how difficult this game was normally, so I was like, let's just take the softline approach. This seems a little messed up in a weird way.
Yeah.
So that's what I did, and then I got the whole list of, hey, this is what all your friends on your gamer list, friends list did, and blah, blah, blah. And then it shows me the TV show. The TV show I like because it is showing you things that the game doesn't cover at first.
Yeah.
Like, Liam, you don't even really know this guy's name. Mm-hmm. But the TV show is pretty much all around Liam at this point, the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to see his background. You get to see that he has a family. You get to see, what he does for Monarch and all this stuff. And then it later on starts to turn into this action thing where we got this a-hole IT guy who should have been shot within the first, couple of minutes of these two meeting, who does all this stuff that ends up screwing Liam over. And then it ends where the game picks up with you walking out of a van during a time blip, and you take their firearms away from them, but to them, they just had guns in their hands a moment ago, and now they don't know where their guns went.
Oh, right. Right.
So,
if memory serves, I think the gameplay that you control covers Iceman and his whole story, and the TV show always covers the villain's side of the story.
That's what it seems like, because I am right now ready to watch the episode at the end of Act 2. Mm-hmm. I just haven't done it yet, because it does tell you, hey, you've hit this point. Do you just want to go to the main menu, or do you want to watch the episode?
Oh,
and
right.
It saves your progress to that point, so you can go back to the main menu if you don't have time to watch the show or not. And you can also go back to the menu and choose to rewatch whatever episode you've done. But yeah, that's exactly what it felt like. Where it's like I was seeing everything from Monarch's point of view in the TV show. And the guy who plays Paul, I can't remember his name, the actor, does a really good job of being that, hey, I'm your friend, only until it stops being convenient.
Right.
And Lance Reddick, bless his soul, dude plays a villain like a villain, where he is calm, he is confident, he has control of the situation, and you have no clue which direction this is about to go in.
He's so good in this.
Aidan Gillen is the guy who plays Paul, also Littlefinger from Game of Thrones. That's why I keep calling him that, because that's who he is to me now.
But I mean, they all do, like, both in the game and in the TV show, like, they do a really good job with the actors and capturing them as well. Yeah. So it's just been fun playing that. The action, the shooting, if you've played Alan Wake, it's pretty much the same feeling. You just have different weapons, and the time powers are fun. You've got one where you can aim and drop like a time barrier, where if anyone's shooting into it or whatever, it stops the bullets, or if anyone runs into the barrier, it stops them. If you do a time dodge, or if you do a dodge, it kind of does the same thing, where it makes a bubble and everything just slows down in that area. Mine's upgraded where I recover faster if I stay in that field that it created.
Oh, right.
You have like your detective vision, where if you hit Y, it highlights any points of interest or anything throughout the map, or any enemies or anything. And then there's this new one that I just unlocked, where it's like you charge it and you like make a time bomb, basically, which has been very effective against these really big juggernaut-looking things that come after you. And I just charge one of those and throw it at them, and it like one hit kills them. I'm assuming it does, because I keep pumping bullets into them, even though they're stopped in time, and then time catches up and they're dead. So it's a combination of both, I guess.
Right.
But the story's just been really interesting. I'm really liking it. And like I said, I'm really disappointed that everyone just seemed to crap all over this game. Like, the reviews all seem to be real positive.
Yeah.
The critical reviews. But I don't know why, like, everyone just, like, ragged all over this game, from what I remember.
I can tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
It's because this was announced as an Xbox One game, because this is an Xbox One game, not a Series X, nor one of those. It's an Xbox One game, and it was supposed to be a launch game for the Xbox One, and it was also tied in with that whole always online promotion that Xbox One had, that Sony promptly, smartly flipped for their side of the market and thing. Despite the fact that, as I was saying at the time, all consoles are online only these days. Deal with it. So I think it got a lot of negative feedback based on the fact that it was associated with all of that kerfuffle.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, but I mean,
and also, like, to be fair, it's not the best game ever, but it's just kind of a fun ride. Like, it doesn't need to be the best third-person shooter of all time. That's fine. It's just this fun, like, scene-chewy science fiction kind of romp.
Yeah, the fact that in the TV show, I saw the book Sudden Stop by Alan Wake in there.
Yeah.
And then in Act 2, I actually saw it in the game in one of the security checkpoints. It's like, all right, yeah.
But, it knows what it's doing.
Yeah, it's like they did a good job with both media versions of this game, and I'm kind of feeling that a good TV show could have been made out of this too if they really wanted to. Unfortunately, Lance Reddick isn't there anymore, but yeah, but so far, like I said, I'm up to the end of Act 2. I'm getting ready to watch that. I just needed to find time to put away for the TV show. Right. But it's a very enjoyable game. So,
yeah.
The next game that I played...
Watch Dogs was reviewed higher than Quantum Break.
Really?
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Whatever. Next game that I played, I did play more of Trails into Reverie. This will be real quick, so you don't have to pull anything up for it. I did complete Reen's timeline, so now that's unlocked the third and final timeline. Not really timeline, I guess, like story line or whatever Chapter you want to call it. Yeah. So now I'm playing as the villain, or so far the villain C, and I think I already know who the villain is. Just because of some of the mannerisms that are kind of used throughout some of the series. But it has you, or I'm basically getting the perspective of, okay, inside of Crossbells is where the SSS is, and this is what's happening inside of Crossbells. Reen's story is, okay, they are outside of Crossbells trying to figure out what they need to do to help these people in the city. This third line is, I'm the villain. We're not the reason why things are happening in Crossbells, but we're also not going to help what's happening in there. So you've got like three kind of different points of views in this game, and it's so far been really interesting on what they're doing with it. So I'm going to play more of that, obviously, and it's going to be a major time suck. But speaking of major time sucks, Remnant 1 and 2 got shadow dropped on Game Pass this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
And I was super excited and downloaded Remnant 2. And then Farore's like, hey, I've never played these. I want to replay, or I want to play the first one.
Yeah, you do.
I'm like, well, that's pretty much what I said. And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure the Xbox is the only thing that I have not played Remnant on so far. So I also installed Remnant 1. And then I was talking with Farore, because we're thinking we may be playing this Tuesday nights now. So I was talking with them because they're like, oh, I just want a class that can heal. I'm like, well, you want the Ex-Cultist, which is usually the class I go with, which is fine. So we can have more than one of the same class. But I decided to go with the Scrapper, which gives me the whole gladiator get up and the massive hammer that kills everything in one hit. And I get the fire mod for my weapons.
Ooh.
Yes. So I had already told everyone's like, don't worry about class selection at the beginning. It's only going to last until like we get past the first boss.
Yeah. And
then you can pick up basically the same equipment and the same mods that all the starting classes had. It's kind of just starting out. This is what different game styles kind of that eventually just merge and become the same thing after a little bit. I played enough where I got all the way to the subway again by myself. And then I'm like, oh, wait, I'm supposed to be playing this with a group. So then I had to step it back and stop playing. But then I was looking at Remnant 2 and really wanting to start that, but I decided not to because everyone else wants to start doing it after we beat the first one.
Yeah, my Thursday night crew is very excited for that drop because we were all sort of like, I don't want to spend $70 on it. But now, here we go. We're going to be doing that on Thursday. Yes, let's go.
That was exactly where I was at. It's like, I don't really have the time for this, and I don't want to spend the money on it. I will eventually, because the first game's great, and I can only, like, it sounded like the second one got great reviews, and everyone who's played it loves it.
Yeah.
It's just not having enough time for it right now.
Yeah.
But now that this has happened, and now that I may have a crew of 3 already, I'm like, all right, cool. Let's just start this from scratch. Why not? We'll just knock this out. It'll be fun, and it'll take a while because the first game can get very difficult very quickly.
Yeah. Well, and the fun part too is it's randomly generated, including bosses. So like you might get a totally different playthrough than you got last time too. So.
I will forever get that stupid ferry bridge fight. I have never played this game and not gotten that as a boss fight.
Oh, really?
I don't even know what I don't know what the alternative boss fight for that area is, because that is all I have played this game twice on PC. I have played it once on PlayStation. All 3 times has been that stupid fairy boss. So I'm only going to assume playing it with this group on the Xbox, it's going to be that stupid bridge fight again.
Tune in for more.
But it's fine. I will enjoy it.
That first game is real cool.
Yeah, I will get the fun mod for beating those and the weapon for beating them again.
Yeah.
And then I will just never know what the other boss fight is for that section.
Right.
So, whatever. So I'm looking forward to doing more of that. But the last game that I have this week is I jumped on and started playing Lies of P.
Oh, nice.
I had been going back and forth on this because I was thinking, I should beat Sekiro first before I jump into a different Souls game. However, Sekiro is just not doing it for me right now.
So let's play the Pinocchio one.
Yes. Well, because this is another one where everyone's like, oh yeah, this is, it's like the newest thing we have, the newest version of Bloodborne that we have.
And so much of the feedback around Lies of P has been, like, the original part of it was like, okay, you're going to make a Pinocchio Souls-like? Sure. Okay, great.
Yeah.
And then nearly immediately...
It was laughed at, like, everyone, including us. Like, we all besmirched it so quickly.
Well, because they said it, but they didn't, at the time, have anything to back it up with. They just had the title card, and that was it. So...
And then nearly immediately, all the feedback has been, wait, this is actually really very good.
Yes. So like Bloodborne, you start your game in a chair, and you stand up and you walk away from it.
Okay.
You're basically on a train, and you follow your path, and this entire time you have a ethereal voice talking to you, whose name is Sophia, who is telling you, you are a puppet, I need you to come here, you're a special puppet, so please be careful.
I don't say this to everybody. You're a special puppet.
Exactly. So when you get to the end of the train, you pick up a lantern, which is Gemini, a very broken version of Gemini, who doubles as a lantern to light up the area so you can see.
Okay.
Take a couple more steps, and then you get to a workbench where you get to choose what kind of character do you want. Do you want the balanced? Do you want, I forget what their magic version in this game is called, but do you want that version, or do you want a strength build?
Okay.
Me being me, I'm like, I want the strength build. I want the big sword. So
that's right.
That's what we go with. You walk out of the train, you come up against a couple enemies, and they have it in the beginning. They have them parsed out where it's like you're only fighting one at a time, just so that you can get used to everything.
Mm-hmm.
This game is set up where in combat, when you block, you are still taking damage, but it is a smaller amount of damage compared to just taking the hit.
Oh, okay.
So you're taking damage and you're still losing a little bit of stamina from blocking. If you do a perfect block, you block right on contact, you don't take damage, and it takes less stamina away from the block. It also has the ability to break that enemy's weapon.
Oh, wow, okay.
So you get that. As you are fighting this, you... I don't know, I haven't noticed it yet, but there's like a hidden stamina meter for like the enemies, and if you get them to a point, I don't know if it's health related or like this hidden value, but their health bar will start to like glow a little bit, and that is your key where you can do like this visceral attack where if you hold down your heavy attack, you do a hard hitting attack, which then opens them up so that way you can do this other kind of visceral attack thing. There's a lot of different systems I'm trying to figure out right now with this game because I'm going in blind. So I haven't figured out what leads to me doing the first heavy hitting attack, which then leads into like the second visceral hitting attack thing. But you can do that against common enemies or bosses. Bosses obviously are a little bit harder because they have way more health. You do have weapon durability, which they fix rather quickly by you have on your Legion arm, you have these gears that you grind your weapon up against, and it gets rid of you, basically fixes your weapon. So you can do that anytime. You can do that an infinite amount of time. There's nothing stopping you from fixing your degrading weapons. Your Estus flask type thing, we're starting out with 3. But what I have found out is if you look in the video that's currently playing, and if you don't see it, when you've used your last one, that window for your Estus flask will slowly start to fill up. Okay. And what I found out with this is when you attack enemies, it will slowly fill up, and then it will completely recharge itself so that you have one more Estus flask.
Oh, that's nice.
It will keep doing that as long as you have enemies to attack, and as long as you don't have any in there. It only does it up to 1.
Mm-hmm.
So if you use it again, you start attacking more, it'll start to refill, and it'll go up to 1, and it'll stop. So you never run out of healing. You just have to be a little careful about it. But
interesting.
The exploration is the same as any other Dark Souls. You run through an alley, you get attacked by a bunch of things, and sometimes you find something cool. Sometimes you find a shortcut back.
Yeah, sometimes you kick down a ladder and there's a shortcut. Hooray!
Yeah, sometimes you just don't know where you're at because, once again, it's a Souls game. It doesn't have a map, so screw you.
Right.
But it's been a lot of fun so far. I'm just learning about your weapons. You have a top. I forget what they break it down to, but basically you have like your hilt, and then you have like the blade. And you can change those, and those give you different special attacks that you can do somehow. And I'm trying to find the difference. I know to use the hilt ability, I have to be blocking and hit Y, and to use the blade ability, I just have to hit Y. And I have 3 charges for the blade and 1 charge for the hilt. I still don't know what mine are doing right now. I have to pull up the description to look at it, but it looks like it's charging something. I accidentally did it during my first boss fight, so I didn't really have time to be like, ooh, what does this do? I was kind of, trying to beat the boss that was throwing things at me. So it has been a lot of fun. This is, it's weird to say this out loud, but this has been a nice, slow, evenly paced Souls game to be playing right now. So I'm not trying to block like 15 blocks in one action and, getting screwed over by my poise or anything. So I think I'm going to continue playing this one. It does have that Bloodborne feel of everything being like Victoria era, where there's like parts and there's carriages all over the place. I haven't run across people to talk to yet, but that's exactly how it is in Bloodborne, where you're talking to a silhouette through a window or a candlestick or something. So I did just get to the Hotel Crate, which I forgot to bring this up. You have, at least so far this one time, you have an option where to get into this hotel, the security system is you have to tell it what you are. Are you a human or are you a puppet? Puppets have like the asthma, law of robotics of, can't kill other humans, can't lie, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, okay.
But because, as it was put earlier, you're a special puppet, you can lie. And so I lied to the system saying I'm human, and it let me in. And then it does the little thing of, oh, your gears have tremored. What does that mean?
Is that bad?
Yeah. So this apparently, I don't know how often it'll do it, but it does have this whole thing where you can choose to either lie or tell the truth, and it has some sort of consequence of something. I'm guessing it's only story related. Like maybe it's a different ending where if I lie too much, everyone dies, or
and every time you die in the game, it says lie or die, which is really good.
Yes, that was. Yeah, it doesn't tell you die.
So good.
But yeah, it's been fun running around with a giant sword and just figuring out attack patterns, hearing random things. Like, this was another thing. When I first started playing this, all the sound was like a second off, like just off by a beat. So I would attack something and I wouldn't hear the noise until after I was already on my second attack. So that was really throwing me off. I did a lot of reading online and no one ever really mentioned it at all in reviews or in the demo or anything. Eventually I found that there was an issue with the PC when it first launched, which has since been fixed. But then I was also reading that there was an issue with the PS5 version where not only did the sounds just stop, it also stopped, like if you went into your console to the homepage, all of the console noises would stop.
Oh, wild.
And nobody could get that fixed for a while. Like, it didn't matter if you rebooted the game, rebooted your system, you just wouldn't have sound.
Jeez.
So I don't know what's up with that, but no one mentioned anything about the Xbox version at all.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually I was busy doing other things, so I did eventually shut my Xbox off and turned it back on, and that seemed to have fixed it for me.
Nice.
I haven't played it again since it fixed the issue, but it's just a random thing out there where I don't know why, but you may run into an audio issue if you start playing this game. Just try shutting off your Xbox and then coming back to it in a couple minutes.
Interesting.
So I don't know. But other than that, though, the game looks fun. Or not look. The game looks good. So far, the game is fun. And I'm looking forward to hopefully playing more of it. The first boss wasn't terribly easy, but I also heard that they released a patch recently that kind of nerfed some of the bosses, and a lot of people are angry about it. But you know what? Shove off. I don't care. It was still pretty difficult where I was down to my last healing item, and it was kind of a 50-50 shot if I was going to make it or not, and I just happened to make it. So
nice.
I mean, it played like any other Souls game I've played so far, so the difficulty's there.
Yeah.
But that's all I've been playing this week.
Boston, please tell me you have a Remedy game.
No, sorry. I'll try better for next week. I have Control installed. I don't have the time to fire it up right now. I have Risk of Rain Returns written down here. I don't remember what I did this week. I think I just did a couple of runs for fun. I think I did unlock an additional skill for the Huntress, but it was like one of those do this challenge or pick up, I think it was like 1,000 individual items for the Huntress across all your runs, and I did the second one of those because I haven't really been doing the challenges. So I don't think there's a lot for me to say about that this week. It's just I'm still having a lot of fun with it, and I'm happy that they, did a remake on a roguelike I really like, and they didn't mess it up. So, 2 thumbs up for that. Yay for not messing up games I love. Next news story here. I almost forgot to write this down. Destiny. If you want an indication of how the state of the game is, there's a new season of Destiny 2, Season of the Wish, which I'm very confused by because this follows up Season of the Witch, which isn't confusing at all. This is Season 23 and Destiny 2's last season, since after the Final Shape, which is the next expansion, moving away from a seasonal model, moving into a episodic model where it's supposed to be longer, more detailed episodes that sort of stick around for longer. We'll see, is all I'm going to say about that.
You guys get your Witcher armor?
No, because it's $20. So,
oh, is it? I just saw an ad for it today. So
it's super cool. They actually have a really cool sparrow for it as well. That's like sort of reminiscent of Roach.
Is it called Roach?
I don't remember. They're always called some like punny name, so it's probably some Witcher pun that I don't get. But no, each one of the armor sets is $20, and that's per class. So
nope.
No, thank you. This season so far seems pretty interesting. They're kind of closing the loop on stuff they started with Forsaken, the expansion that came out years and years and years ago, and then kind of getting to the point where we can get to the place where the bad guy is by the time that Final Shape launches. Also, Final Shape got delayed until June from February. So this season will be about 7 months long. So not really worried about rushing through a lot of this stuff. Bungie has said that they're going to have some PvP stuff. They're going to have some other stuff that they're going to put in place over this extended season. I don't know. All of us are burnt out. So, like, they can say a whole bunch of stuff, but I don't think that's really going to bring us back, whole hog at this point, which is fine, because Destiny 1 and 2 has been out. Pharaoh says it's the Roach-VGH Sparrow, which is,
nice.
is pretty good. So far, this season seems pretty okay. There's a new activity called the Coil, which is really interesting. It's a little confusing when you get into it in the game. I'm not going to go too inside baseball on that, but essentially the Coil is a randomly generated path through this stuff. You go through a couple of... It's essentially like you go through a jumping thing, you fight a whole bunch of enemies, go through another jumping thing, and then you fight a boss. And then at the end of that, you get a little bit of loot, and you go back to the Spirit of Riven, which is your vendor for the season. And then you can spend currency that you've picked up in the encounter to get yourself buffs and make weapons stronger, and your super recharges faster and stuff like that. And then you can do another leg of it, and then you get increasingly more powerful buffs as you go through. I think you have to fight 4 bosses before you finish a run, but you can, to the mode's detriment, you can kind of leave in between legs of it, which most people are doing. So I don't know when if ever, I'm going to get to the end of it. But it's kind of an interesting idea of having a longer, more challenging seasonal activity, because every time you complete a leg, the enemies get 5 power levels stronger than you are. So by the end of it, they're 20 power levels higher than you are, which is like end game difficulty stuff, which is interesting for a seasonal activity. It makes it much harder than you're kind of used to for activities of this size. But it's only the first week, so there's kind of not a lot in the game at the moment, because all that stuff just unfolds over the next X number of weeks, and we'll be kind of back every week doing similar stuff. So it seems good so far, but I think there's maybe 4 of us playing the game with any regularity right now, because all of us are kind of burnt out, especially after Lightfall being a bit of a dud. But I think if you're a new player and you're looking to get into Destiny 2, especially with a longer season, it's probably a really good time. Keep an eye out for those sales for some of the older DLC packs, and scoop some of that stuff up. But there's just a metric ton of stuff in this game that, sadly, the launch stuff isn't in the game, which still sucks. But the stuff that's in there now is still pretty good. So, Destiny 2. Probably won't talk about it again for a while. Destiny 2. Next up, I was sick all week. Yeah,
really quick. Sorry, I have to ask.
Yes.
Are you excited about the changes for Destiny?
Man, I don't know.
Because it sounds like they're moving away from a model which they seem to have had a relative positive success with over the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Are you talking mainly the seasonal model?
Yeah, like ups and downs, but they've had some stellar ups and some really low downs.
Yeah.
So are they still going to charge like $60 for the game and then another $30 for a quote unquote episode? And what's the difference between an episode and a season?
So I was just sitting here thinking, that just sounds the same thing. They're just using a different word now.
So essentially what an episode is going to be is what they're kind of selling it as is an episode is a larger story they're going to tell that's rolled out in sort of 3 parts, and each part is going to have a whole bunch of story stuff and a bunch of new weapons and exotics and armor and stuff like that, and then that's going to wrap up. In a little bit of time later, part 2 of that episode is going to come out. But it's supposed to be less rapid fire than the seasons are. It's not going to be like get in here and do this and kind of be married to the game and get in and grind. Whether that is going to come to pass or not, I'm not sure. I think, especially after the layoffs, my faith in a lot of this stuff to be executed well is sort of falling. But the seasonal model needs a refresh pretty badly, because the repetition of it is a problem, because every season starts off with the same thing, which is you do an intro mission that's pretty good, you talk to a whole bunch of people across the solar system, you go back and they say, cool, see you next week, and then you kind of repeat that week over week of like, here's a new, hopefully small mission, do the seasonal activity at least one time, talk to a bunch of people, see you next week. And then that kind of repetition is fine within a season, but when you're doing this for the 12th, 15th, 20th season, that is really rough, especially when compared with, here's a bunch of craftable weapons that you probably want to get because a lot of them seem good, and then you usually have the same, thankfully this season doesn't, but you usually have the same like 3x7 grid that all of the vendors do for the season. So like all of it is just kind of, you're doing the same thing season over season. And I think when the story was doing well, you know, especially around Witch Queen and post Witch Queen, pre-Lightfall, a lot of that stuff you could propel yourself through because you were looking for, how are we going to get to the witness? Who is the big bad guy? How are we addressing this stuff? But when Lightfall kind of missed the mark on so many things all at once, I think that the cracks in Destiny 2 just started getting bigger and bigger. And I think people that have been playing for 10 years sort of started saying like, you know, man, maybe I'm kind of not 100% here for this anymore, or like they're doing the thing you should be doing all the time, which is I finished the seasonal stuff, or I finished what I wanted to do. Now there's X number of weeks until the next season. This is a good time to go play something different. So I think also with the release of Baldur's Gate 3 and, you know, Cyberpunk 2.0 and you can get The Witcher 3 and all the DLC for less money than one of the Witcher outfits in Destiny 2. You could go play that too.
So you could probably get all 3 games and all the DLC for less than $20 right now.
So there's a lot of that of just like, what am I doing here? Destiny, if you're a longtime Destiny player, it's sort of a rough spot. It's still a pretty good place to start, but you still should probably bring a longtime player along with you to kind of show you the ropes. That sort of stuff season over season has gotten less and less mandatory, but I think there's a lot of stuff that will help smooth the the learning curve, I think. But yeah, I'm excited that's a long-winded way to say I think I'm excited for the kind of episodic take on the game, at the very least, to see what are you going to do next, and what are you going to do, I guess, potentially long-term, because they've been very clear saying, hey, we don't really have any expansion news after the final shape. You know, that's the end of the Destiny Light and Dark saga that we've been playing for the last 10 years. But that's not the end of Destiny, and that's not the end of Destiny 2. So with that in mind, you know, what are you gonna do at this point?
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know. We had a long way until the final shape. We'll see what happens. So.
And it kind of feels like they're in a weird thing where they can't change too much, but they're not really changing enough right now. Just because the community is like so divisive anytime anything changes. Like How would you feel if they came out and they were just like, hey, we have like 2 brand new classes, like completely different. We've got, I don't know, like just 2 completely different classes now that you can choose.
Sure.
Would that throw you off, or would you just be like,
as long as you increase the number of saves characters you make to 5, yeah, sure, put 2 more in there. Why not?
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is just like there needs to be kind of anything done at the moment, because the majority of what we've been seeing is sort of like Bungie saying like, yeah, we hear you, but that's like real hard, and like, I don't know, man. It's like you had over 1,000 employees working at Bungie, so, and like this stuff is expensive, so my understanding goes very far, but it is not infinite. So I don't know. We'll see.
Especially when you're charging $20 for a costume set.
Right. Like the Eververse stuff is a whole separate can of worms. That's a lot of like, the prices keep going up and the options sort of aren't that great. So,
and did the CEO take a pay cut, or did you just fire everybody?
He put out a message on Twitter that he felt very badly. So that makes it better, right?
Moon. Thoughts and prayers.
That's thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers. Yeah.
We could take a note from Japan in this now, because I'm pretty sure, wasn't it Nintendo? One of the execs over at Nintendo, like, basically took a 60% pay cut to pay everyone else's salaries.
Oh yeah, he took a huge pay cut, saying like, "Hey man, we screwed up, and that buck stops at the top. So I'm gonna take a big pay cut to keep people in their jobs, which is how we should be doing it." So,
but not here in America.
No, capitalism.
CEOs are everything. Yeah, you can't do anything without a CEO.
Corporations are people.
Never mind that they. Yeah, never mind that they don't seem to do anything, and they can be CEOs of multiple businesses at the same time.
I'm running 7 companies, and I spend 18 hours a day on Twitter. What's the problem?
Yeah,
no big deal. Destiny 2. Moving on.
Yeah.
Yakuza Like a Dragon. I have finished this game by this point. My total time on the clock was a little over 60 hours, and I did about half of the Rent-A-Hero stuff, so kind of the completion checklist in other games is called Rent-A-Hero. In this one, completed about 50% of all of that stuff total. I don't even think I completed 20 sub-stories. I don't think I got the 20 sub-stories trophy, so I didn't complete as many of those as I usually do. I'm really happy with how this game finished up. I think story-wise, I was talking in recent weeks about how impressed I am that they're telling this kind of complex story that's really interweaving not only a whole bunch of other Yakuza games, but really trying to tell a story with a ton of characters and a ton of nuance to it. I'm really impressed how they wrapped up this entire thing in a way that felt really satisfying, and the whole thing came together really well. And all the like little story threads they pulled throughout the game, if it's not something they're dealing with in Infinite Wealth, because a lot of it is like, see you next time, that they've addressed all of that stuff and they handled it in a really cool way. Like all of these games, the ending was a super sad bummer. It's the bittersweet kind of like, not everything can go your way, but it's still okay in the end, which is great, and something these games do really, really well. I keep wanting to call them the Yakuza games. They're not. They're Like a Dragon now. The old ones are Yakuza. And it's interesting that I don't want to spoil anything, but now I get the name change. It's not just like a branding thing. It makes more sense after playing this game.
True.
I was surprised at how so the big thing about this game that you always hear is like, oh, difficulty spikes. Oh, the difficulty spikes. Oh my god, rabble. When I got to them, there's kind of like 3 big boss fights that are considered difficulty spikes. And it's really interesting because I'm trying to talk about this without spoiling it. who you're fighting needs to be way stronger than you are for story reasons. So
yeah,
they're a named enemy and not just a common enemy.
pretty much, yeah. Like, and they're kind of a cut above the other bosses you're gonna fight. It wouldn't make sense from a story perspective if you were to go into these fights and you do like 3 hits and they're just, you beat me. It's like, no,
Yeah.
they need to be difficult. They need to have, you know, in the older Yakuza games, they'd have 4 health bars and you're wailing on them for 30 minutes. It's a very similar thing in here. Like, they need to be difficult and impressive bosses. I didn't really have a big problem with them. I think because if you've played enough RPGs, you realize, oh, these are the enemies to see. Oh, can I charm them? Can I poison them? Can I do... There's essentially the final boss in the game takes like 4 turns in a row, but I realized you can poison them. So every time they take a turn, 4 times in a row, they're getting hit for 150 hit points. And so, like, back to back to back, it's like, oh, I just took off 600 points of health all at once. And, like, you need to buff your party. You need to use your main character, Kasuga. If he falls in battle, it's game over, because it's a JRPG. So, of course, every one of these battles you go into, you need to use his skill that essentially gives him re-raise from the Final Fantasy games. He casts it on himself. You get knocked out, he just comes back to life, and then you cast it on him again. So I think if you don't take the optional content as optional in this game, I think you'll do okay. There are 3 dungeons in the game that they're like, hey, you can go in here and do some grinding and do the, like, the Sujamon, which is like the Pokemon thing in this game. You can just do that, and that you could probably gain some levels. If you do that, you'll be more than fine. So
what I'm hearing is if you treat this like an old school Dragon Quest game,
yeah,
you'll get through it just fine.
Yeah. I think my only criticism of this game, and I didn't change jobs in the game, really. I changed the main character, Kasuga, from whatever he starts with to... I don't remember the other job. It's essentially the second one you can get for him. The game kind of forces you to change to it at some point. I think it might have been hero job. Don't quote me on that. And then I changed Sachan, her job, into idol, from basically like office lady to idol, because she gets a full party heal spell pretty early on in the game, and you just ride that all the way through the rest of the game. It's really good. So, like, I don't know, I didn't mess around with too much of the job change stuff, because I feel like if I started doing that, then I was going to look at the final dungeon of the game, which is like this incredibly hard, massive super dungeon, and I don't really want to do that. The amount of time
min-maxing and
yeah, and like the amount of time it would take me to do that, I can use that time playing other stuff. So I'm not going to get the platinum in this, because you kind of have to do everything, and I don't want to do everything in a Yakuza game, because I don't want to learn how to play Mahjong, because that's like a whole separate problem I don't want to unleash. But my only real criticism of this game, and it's one of the lightest ones, is that I wish the repeatable dungeons, the like grinding dungeons, were more visually interesting, because 2 of them take place in essentially the sewers. So you're kind of walking through like one gray room after another, and then the other one takes place in repeating like a cargo elevator that's going up, and you just kind of like hit a button and it takes you to the next one, which looks the same as all of the other ones, and then you kind of go up that like 50 floors or something like that. But that's kind of my small criticism of this game, is like, I wish that stuff you're spending time grinding in, or spending your optional time farming, I wish that stuff was a little bit more interesting. So I love this game. I wholeheartedly recommend it. I think my recommendation might still be start with Yakuza 0. And if you like that and you don't want to play, 1 through 6, you could probably move over to Yakuza Like a Dragon. Because then you'll kind of get, I think, a lot of the backstory that this game touches on. You're still going to miss some stuff, but I think the game does a pretty good job of introducing you to stuff that happened in the other games. Because like Kasuga has no idea what happened. He was in prison for 18 years, so like he has no idea what's going on with all of this stuff. So he makes a pretty good venue for you to learn about all that stuff.
Cool.
So my next game is Yakuza Kiwami 2. I'm with the my primary game, Destiny 2, having such a long season. I thought, hey, why don't I get into the series that I own all the games for and have always said, hey, I should get around to those someday.
Boston, this has been tickling my brain like for the past week, dude. Like how I literally have bought every single one of these and haven't played a single one.
Yep. So that time is now for me. I was talking to my good friend Bill Sefford and saying like, man, I didn't play 2 through 6. I should really get on that. I was thinking, wait, why don't I just do that now? I own all of them. And the Like a Dragon Gaiden just came out, and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is coming out at the end of January, which I will be very surprised if I've finished 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I've finished 5 Yakuza games by the time that Infinite Wealth comes out.
Yeah.
But like, why not at this point when I'm on this train of, hey, remember how cool these games are? Maybe I should play all the cool games. So that's what I'm doing. I played 0 and 1 a long time ago, so I didn't necessarily remember a lot from 1. I'm really impressed at the beginning of 2, though, that they had a full story recap of 1, which
cool.
I greatly appreciated. It was maybe like 20-30 minutes all told, and it was kind of in 3 individual parts. So I think it gave you the chance to be like, the first one was a very broad overview of like, hey, remember the 10 billion yen? I was like, not really. Remember this kid? And I was like, sort of, I think. So
I'm currently looking up right now. Did I beat Kiwami 2? I know I have.
Yeah, like that was me looking at the trophies on PlayStation and be like, oh, okay, I beat Kiwami 1 and I remember some of that. Okay, I didn't play 2. All right, now I know where to start. So I was really, really happy with that recap. I felt way better after that whole recap kicked off. And then I really love that Kiwami 2 started with, in the first like 10 minutes after that, you're in a graveyard and you're kind of giving respects to a bunch of people that died in the first game. And the 5th chairman of the Tojo clan comes up. If you remember, Kiryu is the ex-4th chairman. He's like, hey man, 4th chairman, how you doing? What's up? The clan's doing bad. Can you like help me out? Can you give me some feedback? Can you just help us a little bit? And Kiryu's like, no man, I got this kid. That the Yakuza life is behind me. And he's like, all right, I understand, but like, could you really? Oh no, I'm dead. And then Kiryu's like, well, guess I got to do that Yakuza stuff again. It's like, wait,
Guess it's
buddy.
my problem.
Wait, buddy. All he did was give you a letter. You don't have to like run the show again. Like, just go do. But I have a feeling that's probably going to be the story that I'm going to get throughout the rest of these 5 games. It's going to be like, all right, finally got out this time. Me and this kid. Whoops, nope. Running the clan again. Okay, it's me.
One last job.
Yeah, one more job. And like at the beginning, like in chapter 1, Carrie is like, I'm going to go do this thing. I'm not going to make it back alive. I need you to take care of the clans. Bro, hold on. Like, give yourself a little bit of credit here. Like, you're the Dragon of Dojima. Come on. You can punch your way out of this problem. I believe in you. So the thing I'm going to plan on doing throughout these games is set the difficulty on easy and just kind of punch my way through all of these games, because I haven't looked up any tips or anything. I'm kind of leaning on Bill Silver, because he's played all of the games before. A lot of like, hey, what are the problem points in this game? Is there anything I should focus on to kind of make it easier? Because a lot of times you go to Google and you're like, all right, Yakuza Kiwami 2 difficulty, and everyone's like, all right, the final boss is impossible, it's this person. Hey, don't worry. Hey, don't forget what happened to the story. And it's just like, bro, I wasn't even asked. Okay, cool, thanks so much. So I'm that's part of the reason why I want to do that, is I'm not here to like get the super difficult option. I'm not looking to get the platinum or anything. I just mostly want to get the story in here, beat up a whole bunch of thugs, and kind of do the Kiryu
and maybe
thing.
Own some property, you know?
Yeah, run a hostess club or something.
Yeah.
Race some go-karts, or who knows.
Go fishing. Who knows? You know?
Yeah, there's a lot of mini games that are there in here. It is really wild playing the old style after playing like 60 hours of turn-based RPG, and I'm like, oh yes, I have to block and like dodge and use my heat moves and stuff. Okay, yeah, all right, getting back into this. All right, but yeah, so far so good. This Kiwami 2 does move at a much faster clip, which is pretty great. So within like 45 minutes, I was already done with chapter 1 and like wandering out Sotenbori and getting into trouble there already. And I was like, okay, we're moving along here at a healthy clip. So looking forward to getting into this, and kind of I have my stack of Yakuza games under my TV. I'm ready to go. I'm not going to be playing the Judgment games.
Right there.
Yeah,
there's three dark games in the sea of white over there.
That's right. Yeah, you got your own little stack. I have the 2 Judgment games. I'm not really planning on playing those right now, because I would like to focus on the Yakuza series first, because it's essentially 0 through 6, and then Yakuza Like a Dragon and Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name, those kind of happen at the same time, and those lead into Infinite Wealth. So I'd like to focus on those, and then you can play Judgment whenever you want. So looking forward to playing these, because spoiler alert, Yakuza games are great, and I like the drama and the craziness. So. All right, we've been recording forever. That's all I've been playing this week. Let's take a break.
Yep.
Yeah, apparently I have not even started Kiwami 2.
Oh, okay.
So it's sitting there.
Ready for you to pop in the old PS5.
Yep.
It is a large graphical and frame rate downgrade from Like a Dragon, though, which was initially sort of like, oh, this looks pretty good, and you get in the playable era and you're like, yes, the Dragon engine has come a long way from these games. Yeah. Yes, Pharaoh is right, they're all on Game Pass too. So
yep.
You own them somewhere probably, and there's a bunch that were on PS Plus as well too. So, and if not, like, a lot of them are super cheap.
I think I have most of them from PS Plus.
Yeah.
I think the only one I don't have is 6.
Yeah.
So I have the Kiwami Remastered collection that was a limited edition Sony PlayStation 4, I think, box set.
The 3, 4, and 5 box?
Yeah, but it also came with one. I think it came with all 5.
Yeah. There was one.
It was like 1 through 3 remastered, and then 4 and 5 loose.
Yeah.
Which I bought, and I was like, I'll play these sometime. And then Yakuza 0 came on Game Pass, and then suddenly Yakuza seems to be an Xbox franchise. Everybody seems to think it's an Xbox game now. Like, that's crazy to me.
I'm super happy it's been on Game Pass a lot, because there's so many games. It's like it's not an impossible amount of money if you're kind of playing them one by one. But if you're gonna scoop them
It's a
all up
lot,
at the
though.
same time, it's like it's a lot of games.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
PlayStation app cannot keep up with how fast I am trying to scroll through all of the games I have.
Yeah, that's kind of a common problem.
Yep. Louise, what do you want? Come here. Do you want to go outside too? Fine. Come on, move out the way. You're next to my wheels.
Yeah, Favor in chat is right. They do go on sale pretty regularly in bundles, so you can usually pick up like, here's like 8 Yakuza games for $30. Here we go. So looking forward to it.
I have that brand loyalty of, yes, they're on Game Pass. Those are PlayStation games.
Well, it's interesting for me too, because like I've been playing these in Japanese because
Cat is gonna be the death of me.
Yeah, I've been playing them all in Japanese because up until recently, other than like their infamous original PS2 release for the first Yakuza game, they've only been in Japanese. And I checked out some of the English dub for Like a Dragon, and I was like, it's actually not too bad. So, but I'm the same as you. It's like I'm gonna play them on PlayStation because that's kind of where I've always played them, and then I'm gonna play them in Japanese because that's kind of. But
that's how it is.
I was impressed with the Sega's story trailer they just put out. They put out like a 10-minute story trailer for Infinite Wealth, and they have lip flaps set up in the game specifically for the English dub too.
Oh, okay.
Which is wild to see. I was not expecting them to go that far.
What would be really wild is if you could control lip flap, so you can get like that hardcore 80s dub of lips are moving but no one's talking.
Yeah.
That's the one about Kiryu, right?
Yes.
Infinite Wealth is the one about Kiryu and the two of them at the same time.
So I think I think it was Ray Narvaez Jr. who fell in love with the Yakuza games. He's a streamer who I watch the clips of because I don't watch streams. Because I'm at work, before anybody asks. I think he posted his 100% completion time on that was like 12 hours.
Oh, for
Infinite Wealth.
No, you're thinking of the man who erases his name. Yeah, that one's super short. Yeah, because it's just a short bridge of like what happened between 6 and Infinite Wealth, which comes out next month. Infinite Wealth, the RGG came out recently, and they're like, it's the biggest one we've ever made. No, for real, we're not marketing. You need to take breaks. Don't try and one shot this.
Do
for
this
real.
all, yeah.
Like we put the whole. Like there's a ton of Hawaii in here for real. Don't burn yourself out. Seriously, please stop. So, all right, are you guys ready to wrap this up?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, let's get started here in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of December 4th, 2023. Disney Dreamlight Valley comes out of early access this week on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series consoles, Switch, PC, and OS X. In case you haven't been watching the news around Dreamlight Valley, originally the plan was going to be, hey, it comes out of early access and it's free to play. That's no longer the case. It isn't full price from what I've seen. I think it's still $30-$40, but it's not going to be a free-to-play kind of season passy thing anymore.
Yeah. Pretty much everyone who I've talked to who is playing it, including my wife, is like, yeah, I'll pass.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my wife is still into it, and I think she's sort of like, yeah, man, I'm going to keep rolling with this.
She likes what's there right now, but she's not interested in buying any of the DLC content that's eventually going to be coming out for it.
Yeah,
so.
I think they have like kind of a missed opportunity here where they kind of announced like we're going to put out DLC packs that are going to be like larger story focused, because they've been putting out a ton of free packs where it's like, here's 3 characters from this movie and here's 2 from this one and Lion King's in here now. But I don't think they did enough to say, here's the paid DLC stuff and here's what's in it, They're just like, we're coming out with paid DLC. Peace. It's like, no, you need to at least say, like, do you have a ton of realms in it, like the movie sort of thing? Like, are you putting out X number of this and Y number of that? But they didn't really do that. And I think that was a misstep.
Well, my wife is also still super hot on the fact that since EA moved from Origin to their EA store, they lost all of her DLC purchases for Sim 4.
Oh, lame.
And is not honoring the fact that we've bought them all before.
Double lame.
So she's kind of like me, where it's like, all right, screw
I'm
EA.
out. Yep. Yeah. Peace. Don't blame her. Next up here, we have Laika Aged Through Blood. Comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Series consoles. We talked about this a while ago, but this is the kind of motorcycle-based Metroidvania desert thing that has an incredible art style. I really recommend checking out a trailer for this if you can, if you're not watching the video version of the show. It has a really, really neat art style to it and looks pretty cool. It's a lot of like flipping motorcycles and shooting a bunch of dudes all at once. Like, it looks like a pretty cool game. That's like Aged Through Blood. Next game here coming out early access, the Anacrusis, comes out Xbox One, Series consoles, and PC. I forgot this came out in early access a while ago. This is the like kind of Left 4 Dead spaceship retro futurism thing. I think the thing I've been most surprised about is it kind of came out on early access, and I have not heard anything about it since.
Yeah, similar kind of thing here. It's like, oh, I forgot that existed. That's not a good thing.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine, but I think when you look at something like, was it Lethal Company was the game we were talking about at the first part? That seems to be have kind of the same reaction that we had when Left 4 Dead came out, where it's like, this is the thing I want to play, and I will stay up way too late playing this game, and oh, yep, we're back playing this game. You know, it's that kind of thing. I didn't really hear that from Anacrusis here. So,
but on the flip side, we have not heard anyone crapping all over this game. So worst case, it seems like this is just kind of a meh. Maybe check it out if you're interested.
Like it's maybe just a fine thing. Yeah. Good point. Next one here, Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora comes out PS5, Series consoles, and PC.
Crapping on a game.
That's right. Yeah, this is Ubisoft Massive's Avatar game that I feel like they've been working on for like 15 years or something. Like, this one has been in development forever. I know virtually nothing about these games. I'm certainly not the person you come to get your Avatar coverage, so I'm not sure what would make this great or not. From all the gameplay footage I've watched, it sure seems like a Ubisoft game, so that's a thing I usually like, but man, I don't know.
Only thing I've heard is that it's basically Far Cry Avatar, and I've had enough of Far Cry right now, so...
Yeah.
I've had enough of Avatar to last me a lifetime.
Yeah, that too. So maybe don't expect coverage of this game on the show. If I'm
not anytime soon.
Reading between the lines here. Yeah. Next game here is Resident Evil 4 Remake. Comes out on PSVR 2. People seem to like that just fine, so maybe now you can play it in VR if you're one of the 10 people that has a PSVR 2.
And has never played it before.
Yeah. Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader comes out PS5, Series consoles, PC, and OS X. This is that turn-based, grid-based Warhammer 40k thing that's been coming out that looks pretty cool, but I haven't really seen a ton of coverage on this. I know it's kind of maybe a niche within a niche here of like a grid-based Warhammer RPG, but I hope this is cool, because I like seeing a lot more Warhammer stuff comes out that's in like literally every genre. So, but we'll see. Keep an eye out for reviews on this one, because that could be neat. And last but not least here, Born of Bread comes out here on PS5, Series console, Switch, and PC. This is Game Pass day and date. This is a super cute 2D side-scrolling kind of turn-based RPG thing that has a pretty cool style that I have. Which one of these bread puns got you, Moon?
A demo full of bun.
Yep, pretty good. But I recommend checking out the trailer for this. It's super super cute. It would be nice to see if this was another kind of like starter RPG, like the Super Mario RPG remake that just came out. We need more starter RPGs that kind of anybody can play, especially kids can play, that aren't going to be, super super difficult for them to pick up and play. So hopefully,
give us a third costume quest, you cowards.
That's right. Give us the third costume. Don't make me come over there. God, Costume Quest 1 and 2 were so good. But yes, like the ultimate of kind of starter RPGs were both of those. So yeah, that's Born of Bread. We've been recording forever, so we're not going to talk about whatever dire state the game industry is in news stories this week. We're just going to say...
Hey, I added a news story. I'll have you know.
Moon added a news story. Moon hitting the presses right now. Coming from Moonpure over there, says Fallout show trailer LOL. Yeah, you got it right.
Yeah,
it looks fine. Calling it a teaser trailer, also putting out a 2.5 minute teaser trailer. LOL. It looks fine. It's fine. So
I don't know why everyone's losing their mind over it, but
it looks like whatever. Maybe because it looks like Fallout, and maybe that's not what we were expecting. Which would probably be a safe assumption. So
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
These people are making it sound like it's the next best thing that's ever going to happen, and I'm sitting there looking at it like it's fine so far.
Hopefully it'll be cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's good, and I can pirate it later. Yeah, I said that out loud.
That's right. Thank goodness this show is free, so you don't have to pirate it. You can get all the episodes over at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page, including a link to the Discord server. Please come join us on the Discord server. That way you can put in your vote for your game of the year as we're racing towards the holiday episodes for this show, and also your predictions. Don't forget to do that over there. That's in the announcements channel. Highly recommend you get your predictions in there. The more predictions that everybody puts in, the longer and better that show turns out to be. So go hit up the Discord, go check out the announcement channel, go fill out those 2 forums. It's super easy and fun. Yay!
Yeah.
And also don't forget to go check out the YouTube channel. Then like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff genuinely does really help. And most importantly, tell your rich friends to go become a patron over at patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones and numbers.
For just $5 a month, which, yes, I have renamed that tier. You can get everything we provide over there, including exclusive, uncensored, super cool, early access episodes. We put out so much content all the time. It's only $5 a month. Not per week and not per episode. Just per month. It's a steal. You can't... You're losing money by not becoming a patron.
You steadily watch the price of bread increase, but you have not watched our Patreon increase at all.
Inflation proof. The one thing.
Yes.
We found it. Yeah.
That's right. It's us. We've discovered it. You can get all that stuff over there. And if you can't support us financially, totally understand. Everything is expensive. You can help us by sharing on social media, telling your friends, rating wherever you can find the show. That stuff really does help a whole ton. Anything that kind of helps the algorithm show our shows more often, that stuff helps a whole ton. And we greatly appreciate it. And we greatly appreciate you listening to the show. And we hope we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Oh, wait.
Bye.
All right, and what titles do you have?
I have The Long Lore of Mario History, The Superior Brother, The Seasons of Series, As Politely as Possible, Get on the Hydra's Back, Less Than Able Jumpers, and I Like Crunking It.
Veto. All right, Moon, what do you have?
The most wonderful time of the year, Long Luigi, Back There in the Ether, Anime Girl Decal, Alan's cardio issues, Cronkite, and associated with all that kerfuffle.
I have Did You Find the Secret World? Spiders Do What Spiders Do, The Superior Brother, and Long Luigi.
It's got to be Cronkite, dude.
I hate you.
I'm just saying.
It's not my hill to die on. But I'll be at the bottom of that hill.
You'll be at the bottom cheering, like, fight, fight, fight.
100%. If it's not Cronkite, it's probably Long Luigi.
I like Long Luigi because I'm a sucker for alliteration.
Oh, I know.
If I was a better sucker for alliteration, I would have alliterated that whole sentence, but I'm not that good. I think my vote is for Long Luigi.
Well, our vote's a Cronkite, but it's going to be Long Luigi because you vetoed Cronkite.
Yeah.
I feel the more times we say it, I feel like it's like a burgeoning... Someone is picking it up on the dark web as something terrible.
You know, just say it out loud 5 times.
That's right. And the Candyman comes in. And the show's over.
Yeah. It only gets better as you say it out loud longer.
Yes.
Does it? Not sure
because it sounds more filthy the more you say it.
Well, now
it loses the original innocent intent and then turns into something worse every time you say it.
As the internet does.
Right. All right, sounds like we're circling Long Luigi then, which is definitely not dirtier.
Sure. Let's see if I can't turn that into something worse.
Yeah.
I'm going to double title this. I'm ready to go.
Oh, no. Moon is ready, and I'm concerned.
Yeah, I've got something now.
Okay. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is that Video Game Podcast, episode 841 for December 4th, 2023. Long Luigi.
The Superior Brother.
It's like watching Slenderman run across a screen.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much, everyone, for listening and watching. We greatly appreciate it. We hope we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Don't forget to Gronk it.